Hi everyone, my name is Ron. Welcome to the OpenLMIS demo videos. This is the third in our series. In this video we're going to take a closer look at some of the configuration options in the system. OpenLMIS allows you to customize the R&R form for each of the programs that you'll be supporting. In this system we currently have 3 programs set up. Let's take a look at how the R&R form is configured for the Essential Medicines program. I should clarify, what we're looking at here is the configuration screen and not the actual R&R form that the users are working with. Here's a list of all the different fields that can be included or excluded from the R&R form for the program. These individual rows here become the columns on the R&R form that the user is working with. So for example, there would be a beginning balance field, a total quantity received field, and a total quantity consumed field on the R&R form that the users will be filling out. OpenLMIS allows you to add or remove these fields simply by checking and unchecking the boxes. OpenLMIS also allows you to customize the labels for each of the columns or each of the fields on the form. So for example, instead of stock on hand, we may instead want to call this remaining balance, if we could spell it properly. And this now becomes the label for the column on the form that the users will be working with. OpenLMIS allows you to change the position of the columns on the form simply by grabbing the column, this becomes the column, and moving it to a different position. That field will now be in a different position on the form that the user will be working with. OpenLMIS allows you to choose whether or not some of these fields will be user input or the system will calculate them. So for example, if the system was configured this way, the user would be entering beginning balance, total quantity received, quantity consumed, any losses and adjustments, and then the remaining balance would then be calculated by the system. I could flip those around if I wanted to. User enters closing balance and the system will then calculate how much they consumed. If both of these fields are set to user input, you also have the option of whether or not OpenLMIS will validate the values entered by them to make sure by the user to make sure they're arithmetically consistent and let him know if the numbers don't add up properly. OpenLMIS also allows you to configure the R&R form such that the clinician can enter the total number of new patients that have been added to a treatment regimen. For example, a TB treatment program or an ART treatment program. Whenever a patient is put on a long-term treatment regimen, that causes a step function in demand, and OpenLMIS will take that into account when computing replenishment amounts for the health center. Although not on this particular configuration screen, there's another screen where you can specify whether or not budgeting will apply to the program. If that is enabled, then OpenLMIS will display for the user the cost of each line item on their requisition and the cumulative cost of their requisition and how that compares against the budget they've been allocated for this program for this period. OpenLMIS will flag the requisition if the total cost exceeds the allocated budget, although we do not enforce spending controls. Let's cancel out of this now and take a look at another configuration option in the system. OpenLMIS allows you to customize regimen forms for programs also. And by regimen form, we mean collecting summary statistics on patients on particular treatment regimens, not details on any individual patients. You can see here there's already a regimen form that's been configured for the ART program. And as with the R&R template screen, this is the configuration screen, not the form that the individual users will be working with. On this tab, we're looking at the columns that will appear on the regimen form, number of patients on treatment, new patients, and patients that stop treatment. And you can customize the column names for each of these and decide to include or exclude them from the form. On this tab, we specify which regimens the clinician will be entering data on. You can define the individual categories under which these will be grouped. For example, we may want an additional category here, PMTCT or geriatric ART care, and then we can specify the various treatment regimens that they'll be reporting on. We'll cancel out of this now also. We'll see both of these forms in use in our next video. This concludes this particular video. Thank you very much.